My name is Kenneth Reeves. I am the president of the Cambridge branch of the NAACP, as well as the former mayor of the city of Cambridge, Massachusetts. My intention is to say a word about the AdMeTech Foundation and its offerings and benefits, particularly to communities of color and particularly to Black men facing issues with respect to prostate cancer. I would say that in Cambridge, we've been in the men of color health business for more than 25 years. And so we have a men of color health outreach. However, I think we've become much more knowledgeable about ways in which we can assist the men of our city. And we particularly have become much more knowledgeable about prostate cancer and its impact on particularly Black men, who are 5 times as likely to be affected by prostate cancer than white men. So that being the case, and I've dealt with prostate cancer theoretically, and then 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. So I have my own journey. And after diagnosis, I was able to hear what my treatment options were. And I chose something called CyberKnife, which is a 6-day treatment where you go every day for about an hour. There is a laser approach to the cancer. And after that, I was able to be clear for almost 2 years. And then suddenly my PSA, or prostate specific antigen number, kept going up, and no one could figure out why. And I had many MRIs and other tests. And that's when I met AdMeTech, because I was describing this to a friend, and they said, "You sounds like you're lost in the maze of, what to do when your numbers are inexplicable." So I was in touch with our Dr. Stern, and basically I had to tell her there is a test that they don't have in Boston that I need to have. It's an imaging test. It's very advanced. It's in Europe, but not yet approved by the FDA. And she said, "I'll get it for you." And she was able to arrange it through Sloan Kettering in New York. So after much red tape and bureaucracy, I was able to get that imaging test, and it did find where the prostate cancer had moved to an area around my lung, which my doctor, who's a very important, famous department head at Dana-Farber, said he had only seen one case in his career, so he was pretty sure it wasn't to the lung. So I then learned that, the physicians are great, but they're not God. So I called him and said, "Guess what? I'm number 2. And after being number 2, I still have had to have these various questions that I don't feel competent to answer about what next steps should be in my medical care. So while I have a wonderful team at Dana-Farber, who Dr. Stern led me to, but even in all that wonderfulness, there are questions that I don't feel competent to answer. So she just 2 days ago helped me to answer 2 great big questions. So I think this is timely for you to hear that. In my big questions were whether I should participate in a particular study, which would, I'm now on a very expensive pill that has my PSA number at 00000. So this is $16,000 a month. And the question asked of me by my doctor is would I would participate in a trial which would essentially stop this pill, let the cancer come back, and then observe what that does with respect to the testosterone level. And the doctor also said, well, we don't get many Black men in trials, so we'd like to get it would be important if you were to say yes. And so this was hanging over my head like a cloud. I couldn't decide, because I want to do whatever I can do that will be helpful to both science and to prostate cancer with respect to Black men, because self-interest is a wonderful motivator. Her immediate reaction was, "Not for you, because you had one of only 2 cases with your particular doctor. the experience with people like you for such a trial is too small. And so you should be very thankful to the doctor, but it's not for you. Thank God for having a foundation that's devoted to navigating men of color through the maze of prostate cancer to be able, with a scientific point of view, give that kind of direction and consultation. So I must say that is great. I also got to talk to her about a second thing, had to do with neuropathy. And so I went to a neuropathy doctor who was the head of neuropathy at the Brigham and at Dana-Farber. I got a clean bill of health, meaning that whatever neuropathy I have is appropriate for my age and for my diabetic status. But then Dr. Stern introduced the issue of vascular. The neuropathy is basically your hands and feet. The vascular is the veins in your legs going down to feet. She suggested, well, maybe you want to see a vascular person too to get the fullest picture of what's going on with the circulation. Trust me, I have a lot of education and a lot of good exposures, but I think what AdMeTech is offering is the possibility to get the best advice for the best care possible at this time. And I want all men of color in Massachusetts to have that. So I couldn't recommend this program more highly based on my own personal experience and those people who I can recommend. This is my story and my song, but I must say that I have been very much helped by the advice and direction and management of AdMeTech.